Lie can appear every moment of every day, but when it comes to Russia, we are never less likely to encounter lies. With each passing day, the truth about the Russian army is coming to light more and more. The efforts of the Vladimir Putin, president of the Russian Federation, to deceive the Russian people and the world public opinion are no longer working because now the Russian soldiers themselves admit the lies that they tell. Ukrainian intelligence shares them with the world public opinion. Recently, Ukrainian intelligence officials shared an interesting developments about the lies of the Russian army with the public. Ukrainian intelligence, which listened to the phone calls of the Russian soldiers serving on the front line, captured a very striking recordings. In this recording, the Russian soldier confessed to his wife how the Russian army lied while describing the front line. So what was this confession? Let's analyze it together. As the pioneer, we continue to bring you the war between Russian army and the Ukrainian army. You can use super thanks button below the video to support our team and me who is making great effort. Thank you in advance for your support. Let's start if you're ready. The pioneer reports. With the emergence of the voice recordings of the Russian soldier, the accuracy rate of the reports shared by the Russian army about the front line has come to the agenda again. As you may remember, in the past month, the Ukrainian army had fully established control at many points in Robotny region. Russian sources later shared reports with the public that the regions under the control of the Ukrainian army were recaptured. However, the facts that emerged, Russian sources had lied once again. A Russian soldier serving on the Zaporizhia front line was seeing his wife after as day as usual. According to them, there was no problem, but there was something they did not know. While the Russian soldier and his wife were talking, there was another person on the line. It was the Ukrainian intelligence personnel. Every detail of the conversation between the Russian soldier and his wife was being listened to. The Russian soldier serving on the Zaporizhia front line was telling his wife about the experiences during the war. However, he also expressed the truth. The Russian army was preparing fake videos and sharing them with the world public opinion. The Russian soldier made the following statements about the incident in question. My commander ordered me to set up scenes and use the Ninth Company, a popular 2005 Russian war film, as inspiration. So I dressed everyone, put them in their places, and filmed them going through the trenches to show how incredible they felt. All the videos were sent to the higher authorities. With these statements of the Russian soldier, one of the propaganda of the Russian army was revealed. Instead of fighting on the front line, the Russian army produces scenarios and Russian soldiers act in these scenarios. The Russian army is doing everything but fighting. Some war bloggers also made remarkable statements on this subject. In this statement, we learned that the video of the destruction of the Ukrainian army's armored vehicles were recorded within a special scenario. According to the war bloggers, Russian soldiers record different images from the various angles using previously destroyed Ukrainian armored vehicles. Afterwards, Russian soldiers broadcast each video shot from different angles as if it's a new operation. The Russian army seems to have mastered filmography. Reports that the images recorded by the Russian army on the front line are nothing but fiction have caused a great echo on social media. With the revelation that the Russian army was lying, the Russian army became the subject of humor. Many sources, including Russian sources, make fun of the Russian army for the actions of the Russian soldiers. We think that we will encounter more information about this issue in the coming days. We will continue to follow the events of keep you informed about the developments. While the Russian army is trying to deceive both the Russian people and the world public opinion with the lies, there are also facts on the front line. The Ukrainian army continues its special operation activities on the Bakhmut front line. Moreover, in just one day, the Ukrainian army destroyed 6 tanks belonging to the Russian army on the Bakhmut front line. The report on the destruction of 6 tanks by the Ukrainian army was shared by the commander of the Ukrainian ground forces, Colonel General Alexander Syrsky. Syrsky used the following statements in his statement. The Asgrad group worked in the cooperation with OG units of the 120th Separate Airborne Brigade, the Shark Group of 28th Brigade, the Klidavich Group of the 92nd Separate Mechanized Brigade, and the head of the Electronic Warfare and Cyber Warfare Services of 28th Separate Machanov's brigade to destroy Russian tanks. Our troops successfully destroyed 3 T-80 tanks, 1 T-90, and 2 T-72. The enemy is making unsuccessful attempts to regain the lost territories around Hurlyivka, Klishchivka, and Andreevka. Our defense forces continue offensive operations south of Bakhmut, inflicting losses of manpower and equipment on the enemy and consolidating new positions. We will continue to struggle. Slava Ukraine. With the statements of the Ukrainian army, we were able to clearly see the losses suffered by the Russian army on the Bakhmut front line. The Russian army is facing more and more losses every day. The counterattack operations of the Ukrainian army are wearing down the Russian army. While the losses of the Russian army's armored vehicles are increasing day by day, the Russian army continues to tell lies in order not to show these losses. However, these lies are also revealed in the way as we have just mentioned. We anticipate that we will hear more Russian casualties as the Ukrainian army's counterattack operation continue. There are many theories about how long the Russian army can resist the Ukrainian army's counterattacks with these losses. What they all have in common is that they claim that the Russian army has come to the end of the road. On the other hand, the counter-offensive operations of the Ukrainian army continue with the participation of artillery units. Ukrainian artillery units are hitting the city of Melitopol, which is a lot of great importance for the Russian army, with the long-range missiles. In the recent days, the mayor of Melitopol made a remarkable statement. In these statements, some very important information about what happened in the region emerged. Melitopol Mayor Ivan Fedorov made the following statements about the developments in recent days. There is no panic, but we have to be careful. We have started to move educational institutions such as a school, academics, and colleges. Russian troops on Melitopol front are preparing for a hot autumn. It's already scorching in Tokmak. A few weeks ago, Russian troops began evacuating the authority bodies, and a few days ago, Russian forces began intensively evacuating their families. This shows that despite all counter-arguments, the Ukrainian army's counteroffensive was successful. The Russian troops and the occupation administration that settled in Melitopol as a result of the Ukrainian army's counteroffensive operations are now leaving the region due to the impending danger. So will those who claim that the Ukrainian army has failed continue to make these claims? We will see together in the coming days. What do you think? Do you think the propaganda efforts of the Russian army are working? Do you think Ukrainian intelligence is successful? How do you think the destruction of the Russian tanks will affect the front line? What do you think about what happened in the Melitopol? Let me know in the comments. I read and I care about all your comments.